My name is Ken Russell. I'm with Russell Law. I've been an estate planning practitioner for over 30 years. Guardianships is a process whereby the court is able to designate someone to either be guardian of someone's person or guardians of someone's estate. A guardianship is essentially a solemn hearing, a solemn petition. Essentially, it's saying that some individual doesn't have the ability to take care of themselves or take care of their assets, and someone needs to be designated to do that for a person. There's two types of guardians. There's a guardian of the person and there's a guardian of the estate. A guardian of the person makes decisions for that individual, may decide that they can't be taken care of at home, may decide that they need to go in a nursing home, may decide exactly what the medical care is. Essentially, they're making decisions about that person's care, who's taking care of that person, and how that process is taking place. A guardian over the estate is someone who oversees assets for an individual. They essentially take that person's assets, they invest them, they put them in a bank, they write the checks. Essentially, they take control of that. Critical to a guardianship is knowing that the person who is becoming a ward essentially has no control over either their person or their estate. That's why it's a critical process. It always requires a court hearing. Why is that? Because you're essentially taking away someone's ability to act on their own. So we file a guardianship petition. The guardianship petition requires very specific information. When a client calls us about a guardianship for somebody, a parent, we may provide them with a letter which essentially indicates all the information that we need. That includes other children, that includes other potential beneficiaries, because a notice goes out to everyone who has an interest in that person's life and an interest in that person's estate, that there's going to be a guardianship hearing, and that guardian may be named for the person or the estate. In addition, the person who's in need of the guardianship gets notice. That may be a little counterintuitive. That person may not understand the notice. Doesn't matter. To the extent possible, that person is provided notice. Notice is a critical aspect of a guardianship hearing. Once notice is provided, there's a hearing. The person who's looked to have a guardian must be at the hearing unless a doctor indicates that would jeopardize their health. At the hearing, we require a medical report. Why a medical report? Because a medical expert needs to say that that person's unable to handle their personal matters or unable to handle their financial matters. So not only is the petition required, but also the doctor's reports required. Typically, we have testimony. We may have testimony of the person who filed the petition, of a child, of an individual who's concerned about this individual. Sometimes the court even asks questions of the person looking for a guardianship. Sometimes we have contested guardianships where either the person doesn't believe they need a guardianship or an individual wanting to contest who that guardian is. But a guardianship essentially allows us to take over a person's person and take over their assets. Typically, a power of attorney is a document which allows us to do that for a person with regard to their assets. Typically, a revocable trust sometimes acts as a vehicle where we can oversee someone's assets, but sometimes those aren't enough. The difference between the trust and the durable power of attorney and a guardianship hearing is the guardianship hearing shuts that person's ability to contract. If we just have a power of attorney or we have a trust, that person can still sign contracts. And sometimes that's not good for that individual. Sometimes there's people looking to scam a person. Sometimes loved ones are looking to take money. So the guardianship hearing will shut down that person's ability to contract and allow us to name a guardian for the person's individual or estate. If you need help with a guardianship, we're more than happy to help you. Please give us a call here at Russell Law.